love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
What's up, guys? Leighton here for UFC Gambling Addicts, coming at you with an episode of Insight. Just the same as last week, it's going to be my preferred dogs this weekend, my preferred parlay builders this weekend, and my most confident pick. Just before we get into that, I want to go over the same thing I'm probably going to say at the start of every episode here. The only predictable thing about MMA is it's unpredictable. I'm a strong believer that if you're not in the octagon, you have an opinion and an opinion only. No one's opinion is wrong. No one's opinion is right. There's going to be people on this card that you look at as an underdog worth taking, and there's going to be people I look at as an underdog worth taking that you wouldn't agree with. So anything I say here is simply how I feel about this card, how I feel, how I'm going to invest my money on Saturday. And you shouldn't follow me. You shouldn't follow me. If you didn't agree before this, don't follow me. If you agreed with me before this, then maybe it's a confirmation for you. But at the same time, I'm human. I make wrong picks too. I'm no special picker in the game. I strongly believe there is no one who is special in making predictions. I simply think we all have a passion for this sport. And if you're listening to this, it's because you have a passion. And I massively respect that. But I don't want to get it twisted. You know, don't follow me, because this is just how I feel about this Saturday, and I'm just simply bringing insight to the channel on my behalf of how I feel about this card. So yeah, let's spark this blunt, and we'll get into it. Okay. So, my favourite underdogs this card. Obviously, you know, I'm looking at the lines right now. There's good underdogs on this card. I'm sure a lot of people are looking at RDA, maybe James Vick, and a few others. But the ones that I'm preferring this week are, I'll start with Modafferi. Now, the reasons why I feel Modafferi is a good price. Number one, women's MMA is always unpredictable, far more unpredictable than men's MMA. So if you can get underdog odds on someone you think has a good chance, you should probably take it. I am aware they have fought before. This is a rematch. But Jennifer Maia, both of those UFC fights, she's taken down in both of those fights. And Roxanne Modafferi is all about that life. You know, she has an extremely unorthodox style. Where she's just coming forward, bopping her head, and just keeping you on the back foot. Now, the way to deal with Modafferi is to make sure she's going backwards. But as this fight goes on into late round 2 and round 3, I feel like it could become a very close fight. I see Modafferi getting a takedown or two. It's just what she does with those takedowns. So for those reasons, I'm favouring Modafferi at plus 110, plus 118, 115, 125. Good price on her, so I'm going to take Roxanne this weekend. Number 2 would be Steven Peterson. At plus 120, plus 133. He's really proven to me that he's tough as nails, man. And I know a lot of guys in the UFC are tough. But Steven Peterson, man, he's really proven it to me. He'll keep coming forward, man. He'll take everything you've got, and the way to stop Steven Peterson is to turn his lights out, or simply make sure you're good enough to keep going and, you know, make it 15 minutes. With Alex Caceres, man, he's got, you know, he hasn't got a good record. It's that style that's keeping him in the UFC, and, you know, I like watching Alex Caceres. He's a good guy. Obviously, he has a legit path too. If he stays on his bike and implements that Bruce Leroy style, without a doubt, he could win a decision. But I just think if Steven Peterson can make this dirty or force it, you know, he's going to try and make it dirty, there's no doubt. But if he really forces it and he's able to make that the story of the fight, then I give him a really good chance here. So at plus 120, he's another dog that I am going to be taking on Saturday. And my third underdog, it's a bit of a stretch, But like I say, this is just what I'm going to do this Saturday. I'm definitely not telling anyone to do this one either. Who is it? Gabriel Silva. So it's a bit of a bet against Ray Bourque at the moment. I feel that fight at 135 against Casey Kenny just wasn't Ray Bourque. In all fairness, I did actually score that fight 29-28 to Bourque. But at the same time, it was a very close fight. And to say Ray Bourque missed weight at 135, and he just didn't look like Ray Bourque to me. So this guy is Eric Silva's little brother. He's competed at 145. He looks like a good striker. If he's able to keep up with the wrestling, the grappling, and just the overall veteran game of Ray Bourque, then I think he's going to have a good shot here. So that's another one I'm going to take. Those are my 3 underdogs. Moving on into parlay builders. So my parlay builders this card. There's a few good lines. Obviously, there's decent lines this weekend. It's tough to decide who to build around every week. That's always a tough thing to do. But I'm going to give you 2. I'm going to give you the 2 that I feel have a good price, that are worth building around and worth putting in, maybe more than two parlays at this price. My first one is going to be Klidson. Now, once again, a little bit of a bet against Sam Alvey, but at the same time, so I'll start with Klidson. He debuted against, on really short notice, against a very, very tough Russian. And, he got beat that fight. I picked against him that fight. But he just competed, man. He never quit. He never quit. Yeah, and just, he always looked to be in that fight. And I think this is a very fair matchup for him. He's 0-1 in the UFC now. And this is a legit matchup for him at 205. Maybe to showcase him a little bit here. I'm trying to be respectful to Sam Alvey. I really do like him. He was a part of my betting group. I believe he still is a part of my betting group. So I like him as a person. I like him as a fighter. I just don't believe he's a 205er. I think, he backs up way too much. He has slow stepping movements. And recently he's proven that he's not taking shots off of these 205ers the way he would at 185. And even when he tried to be aggressive, he has tried to be aggressive at 205. We saw that in the Jimmy Crute fight, and it backfired against him very quickly. So it's interesting to think about what kind of Sam Alvey we're going to see here. Is it the usual one where he's up against the fence, circling, looking for that big shot off of the counter, or is it going to be an aggressive Sam? Either way, I think Sam Alvey is going to get hurt in this fight, and it's probably over in the first round. So yeah, my first parlay builder is Klidson. Second parlay builder here. Now this is a tough one. Originally I was thinking Dan Hooker, but I'm actually not going to make him like a parlay builder. I just think, James Vick, he's a good guy too, and that's a really, really tough fight. So the one I'm more confident in than Dan Hooker, a bit of a strange one, but I'm more confident in Ben Rothwell here. I think Ben Rothwell, that's, most people are looking at this fight like, who the hell knows? But I feel like I've got a little bit of a stronger read on this one. Arlovski, man, he's just so done. And I feel like I've been saying that for so long now. And I took him in his last fight. I took him to beat Sakai. And, I thought he was robbed in that fight. So to say that he had a perfect game plan where he was able to avoid big shots, circle a lot and take, hardly any damage and still not get rewarded. The judges just didn't see how good Arlovski was that night. They just didn't see, he done everything he wanted to in that fight. Now, I don't think he can do that here. I don't think he can implement the same game plan against Ben Rothwell that he did to Sakai. I don't think he's going to be able to be on his bike. I think Rothwell was able to stay in his face much easier. And I think Arlovski is forced to fight in this one. And I think, he doesn't want to get hit anymore. That nose is looking terrible. I think he fixed it a little bit for his last fight. But Arlovski, man, his heart has to be gone after that robbery in his last fight. So, yeah, Ben Rothwell, I think, hurts him in the first round. Okay, so on to my most confident pick. It's very tough to pick a most confident one every week as well, pretty much. I know, I've heard some people are pretty big on Alexander Hernandez this card, and I'm favouring him too. But I just think Trinaldo, man, he's a good guy. So, you know, I can't really pick Alex Hernandez as my most favourite here. My most confident pick, I'm going to take Walt Harris. And the reasons why, I just think Alexey Olynyk is a one-trick pony. Now, he is a very, very good one-trick pony, though. I'll be honest, he is very, very good. But we know his tricks. Everyone knows what he's about. He's got 2 Ezekiel chokes in the UFC. We know how good this guy is. Now, if anyone wants to hear me speak positively, more positively about this guy, go listen to the breakdown on my channel when he was fighting Mark Hunt, because I pay him massive respect and I pick him on that breakdown, and I'm just, you know, I'm speaking about how highly his jiu-jitsu game is, and I really, you know, I still hold those beliefs. But when you're that one-dimensional, there's only a type of guy it's going to work on. Now, Mark Hunt is a plodding heavyweight where he just plods forward. There isn't much movement. Against a guy like Walt Harris, very, very light on his feet for his size, you know, former basketball player. He's just so much more athletic than Olynyk. He's more powerful. He's also a striker more than a grappler. I see Alexey Olynyk being hurt in this fight in round 1. But if he is able to prove me wrong and submit Walt Harris, credit to him. We know Verdum wrapped up Walt Harris. But Verdum is so much more talented on the feet than Alexey Olynyk. There's just so much more to prepare for, so much more to watch and understand what's happening during the fight. For me, Walt Harris is my most confident. I think he's able to hurt Alexey Olynyk before Olynyk can even get a hold of him. So, yeah. That's my breakdown for this little insight episode series that I'm doing. So, there's a few names, a few different reasons for each guy. And yeah, I hope you appreciated this little series I'm doing. And yeah, just good luck on your bets. Peace.